Are we allowed to talk since we're here early?
Good afternoon, Rotarians. It is 12:15, so welcome to the January 18th, 2021 Valparaiso Rotary Club meeting, where we grow diverse leaders for local service and global impact through meaningful and dynamic connections. Our Rotary fact today is about the four-way test. One of the most widely printed and quoted statements of business ethics in the world is the Rotary four-way test. It was created by Rotarian Herbert J. Taylor in 1932 when he was asked to take charge of the Chicago-based Club Aluminum Company, which was facing bankruptcy. Taylor looked for a way to save the struggling company mired in depression-caused financial difficulties. He drew up a 24-word code of ethics for all employees to follow in their business and professional lives. The four-way test became the guide for sales, production, advertising, and all relations with dealers and customers, and the survival of the company was credited to this simple philosophy. Herbert Taylor became president of Rotary International during 1954-55. The four-way test was adopted by Rotary in 1943 and has been translated into more than 100 languages and published in thousands of ways. The message should be known and followed by all Rotarians. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I would like to thank today Greg Farrell and Mary Jo Jamie for bringing us Zoom and allowing us to gather here today. If you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now I would like to invite Steve Zalahusky to do our invocation.
Good morning, everybody. Great to see many of your smiling faces today. So it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day as we honor his life and his legacy in probably different ways than we would in the past when we could actually get out and do some service projects in person. And this week is also a big week as we celebrate a peaceful transition of power in our nation's capital, one that has taken place for centuries now. So yesterday at church, the choir sang one of my favorite hymns, and I thought I would just read it because it's so poignant for a week like this week. Many of you are probably familiar with it. It goes like this. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, brothers all are we. Let me walk with my sister in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Folks, have a great week.
Thank you, Steve. Do we have any visiting Rotarians and or guests?
I think that would be me.
Hi, Mary.
Hi. Hi. Hi, I'm Mary Casca.
Welcome.
Thank
You are transferring to our club, correct?
Yes, I hope so.
All right. That is great news. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Now, Andrew Lucas, Sergeant at Arms.
Sorry about that. Hi, how are you? Can you do a quick screen share? Can you do screen share, Dawn? Do you trust me to do screen share? Might be a better question than whether you can or not.
That's fine.
All right, so here's the deal. Steve and Dawn both had these wonderful, thoughtful words to get into this. I, of course, as sergeant, have something that's totally useless. and not nearly as deep for Sergeant at Arms. But before I get there, I guess we have to do good news, right? So not sure how we're doing good news nowadays. I guess raise your hand and we'll see if we can call on you. Silva's got something. Silva?
Yes, I just wanted to let everyone know that my daughter Liana was working for Google for several years now, and now she has a new position at Amazon as a social media strategy and marketing manager. So she's really happy to join Amazon. At Amazon is the section that she's going to be joining. So I'm really happy about that.
Super. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's see. Raise your hand if you have good. Doug Mock's raising his hand. Douglas?
That's good news, but also an announcement. Just an update on the fundraising for the Rotary Library Garden. We finalized everybody's pledge as the end of last year. And it's exciting to say that club members collectively are pledged 95,000, just over 95,000 towards our $100,000 commitment. So thanks to everyone for stepping up. But also more importantly, we are finalizing the how the names are going to be on the donor wall. And you've all received 2 emails confirming that. So if there's any last minute changes, get them to me as soon as possible. So good job, everyone.
Congratulations to Doug and his committee on a job well done. Any other good news? Raise your hand and I will try and spot you.
Dr. Case.
Aaron, Mr. Case.
So unfortunately, it's not good news, but it's happy ending news. As some of you may have read in the paper today, we did have a bus accident at the corner of 549, where a semi truck wanted to say hello to one of our school buses. The positive thing is no children were hurt. Our bus driver was okay. And just very grateful and blessed everybody was okay. So that is good news, because something that could have been a tragedy is everybody's good.
That is good news at the end of the day. Unless you're a plaintiff's attorney injury like I am, it's good news. All right, anybody? Atso's got his hand up. Take your mic, unmute yourself, Atso.
Yep, I did. Thank you, Andy. Good afternoon, everyone. I wanted just to inform you that Ivy Tech Valparaiso campus is being decided to be a mobile vaccination site for January 25th and 26th. So I don't know how they're going to organize all of that, but we already going to offer the site as a mobile vaccination.
Good enough, Atso. Is it the county that releases who can go get the shot? Is that how that works?
I have no idea, but that is through the Indiana Health Department and National Guards. They are organizing through Indy, and they're going to send us information.
Fair enough. All right. Diane. Unmute yourself, Diane. There you
Okay,
go.
got it. Okay. I just wanted to say, we don't have a whole lot of events in our magazines coming up, but we want anyone who has an event coming up between February 10th and March 15th to get the information to me in the next couple of days, because we would love to publicize it so our calendar doesn't look so small. So I'd love to hear any events coming up. Let me know.
Okay. Jackie Fioretti, are you raising your hand or working on your phone? And you're still muted. I think she was working on her phone. Go ahead, Jackie.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think someone asked me is because my name doesn't come up to get credit to JFIO. So I was trying to find out how do I answer someone, but because my internet at work isn't working, I'm using my phone. Have a great day. I'll still be watching.
All right. Well, I'm sure Rick's got you. All right.
Yeah, he just did.
Anybody else? Let me look at screen number 2. All right. No other good news. So as I said earlier, today's worthless and irrelevant Sergeant skit will go like this. Let's see. Screen share. Can anybody see my screen? Yes, no, maybe?
No.
Oop, I guess I gotta probably hit screen share, don't I? There you go. So we'll do this. Okay, so the name of today's game that we're playing, we're gonna play a game. I like this, that I can share pictures during Sergeant because I can do stuff like this. The name of the game we're gonna play today is How Did You Get That Bald? Okay, and I'm gonna hold up pictures of myself from over the years. And the way the game works is you have to shout out what year that was, working towards the point of how in the world did you ever get that bald? So we're gonna start with this one. Anybody that knows my background knows there's some giveaways in this photograph. What year was this photograph? Anybody just shout it out.
We can't see it. You got
Can't
to
see
make it bigger or
You
bring
gotta
it to
make
that
it
other
bigger?
screen.
Can you see it?
No, we see your file screen.
Maybe switch screens.
Yeah.
Nope, that's not it. Yeah.
Maybe switch displays.
Click on the picture.
I just need to open it. There it is.
There you go.
You got it now?
Well, it showed up and it
I
just.
had it.
How about
It
that?
came
You
and disappeared.
got a picture of me and my son?
Yep, it's
Yeah.
a thumbnail, but it's really small.
Yeah.
Click
Okay.
on it
This,
again.
Just double
this would
click
work
on it.
better if I'd have figured out the tech. So
I was going to say, Andy, I love how you said,
Oh,
"Oh, I get to
2004.
actually share pictures."
There it is.
Not so much.
May 15th of 2000.
close. All right. So this is 2013. The giveaway, or I'm sorry, it's like 2003. The giveaway is I'm still in New Orleans, if you can see it. And that's my son. If you've seen my son lately, he doesn't look like that anymore. What about
Rick,
this?
did
Can
you
guys
take the
see
picture?
of me fishing? Again, the point of this game is how'd you get so bald? This is one, somebody take a guess. Anybody?
We don't see it.
Oh, all right.
You
Can't see anything, my friend.
All right, never mind. I don't have a sergeant's
I
kit today
think,
'cause
Andy, can I
couldn't-
just cut in real quick? I think the
Yeah.
good news we found out today is that Larry Raver is better at Zoom than one person in our club, and that would be Andy. That's great news.
All right, I give up. That's
Larry.
it. That's all I got, Dawn. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Thank you for trying. All right, a couple of announcements I'd like to share. Again, the Matching Points campaign for your Rotary Foundation contributions goes through January 31st. So if you make a donation to or a contribution to Rotary Foundation, the district will match dollar for dollar through January 31st. Also, if you have any ideas for weekly programs, we have a wonderful program committee, but I know that they are always willing for any ideas, connections, suggestions that you all have. So please feel free to reach out to our program chair, Chris Kraus, if you do have someone you would like to present on a Monday for us. With that, I would like to turn it over to Atso Sikoski to introduce our speaker today.
Thank you, Dawn. Can everyone hear me well?
Yes.
Good. Thank you. So we will continue this month with education and presenting. So today we have Patty Shields. Patty Shields is our Executive Director for Career Coaching and Employer Connections at Ivy Tech. For many years at Ivy Tech, we had a department for career development and career coaching. It was just a functional area within academic advising, different departments, so to speak. But we recognize the gap, what we experience for students when they're taking the classes and going through a program and accomplishing the educational or transfer goal, but they were not able to connect with employers. So last year, we were fortunate to apply for a big grant. I'm talking about system-wide, and we received this grant, and we were able to expand this functional area into under one umbrella, and we call it now Career Coaching and Employer Connections. So we used to have just 1, 2 people within that department, but now we have 9. And we are fortunate to have Patty Shields. She's going to talk about all of this. But she is being in the industry and serving as a director for Employer Connections in Illinois for over 15 years, but she's native from Northwest Indiana. In fact, she lives in Chesterton, and she is now with us. With any further ado, I'm going to turn over to Patty Shields to talk about CCEC, the way we call it. Patty?
Thank you very much for that introduction. And being in Chesterton, if you hear the trains go by, I will apologize right now, but if you in Chesterton know, it's about every 2 minutes we're going to hear a train go by. So if I can share my screen, I'll get that going. I'm glad I wasn't having technical issues today. That worked out. Everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. As Chancellor shared, I am the new Executive Director of Career Coaching and Employer Connections. And this initiative is really near and dear to my heart, and so glad that Ivy Tech has embarked on this as a new initiative for them. I have been in career development, working with employers throughout my career. And quite honestly, this is the first time that a community college has put together the resources and the commitment and the team to be very intentional. And that is really the word that I use about CCEC, is how intentional it is to bring together our students and to bring together employers so that they are prepared for the workforce. I want to share a little bit about that team that Chancellor Sikorsky was talking about, the 9 of us. Yes, we did used to have 1 or 2 people who were working with employers, working with students, and now we have a very robust team of 9 of us. We are working with both students and with employers, making sure to make those connections. And for students, if you take a look at that first bullet point, provide students with transformational, life-changing career coaching. That is a really bold statement to say transformational and life-changing. But I believe that we have really organized well to make this a different kind of experience for students, because we at Ivy Tech have been very good at the educational portion, making sure students are moving through their education with degrees, with certificates, with certifications. But oftentimes we weren't making sure that they were connected with employers. And that's where CCEC really comes in, because we are working with students from the time they come in the door, making sure that they have all of the tools they need to go into the workforce. We don't believe that it's a good strategy for students to wait for the very end to say, oh, now I don't have my resume, I'm not prepared for this interview. But along their pathway, we are helping students build that cover letter, build that LinkedIn profile, get ready for the job interview, and get them ready with employability skills. We hear that from employers a lot, that students are coming without some of those basic communication skills or conflict resolution. And that's what we're here to help with. On the other side, working with employers, we want to make sure that employers have those touch points with students throughout their education, so that they've had a chance to work with them, they've had a chance to see them in action. So when it's time for them to hire, they're going to choose Ivy Tech students to bring into their workforce. Why did this happen to begin with? I think that you've probably heard the governor, you've heard Ivy Tech in the past talking about growing our base of employees throughout the state, working to reduce the unemployment level, making sure that current employees and employees getting into the workforce are skilled up. And the reason for that is right now, 42% of Hoosiers have any kind of post-secondary credential. And by 2025, the need in Indiana is going to be 62%. That's a big gap to fill. And so unless we are very intentional about making that happen, we're not going to be able to fill that gap. And that's going to leave employers looking for employees to fill those positions that need higher level skills than what our workforce has. So that's why we are putting together a team to make sure that this happens. And at the campus level, as the chancellor had stated, this is a system-wide initiative. So this is going on throughout the state. So here at Valparaiso, we are going to have 9 people working on these different positions. Career coaches are those front level student facing staff that are going to, again, be helping students with the resume development, those employability skills, and they will start working with students throughout the process of their education. They have milestones for students to meet in developing a career development portfolio, so that when the student is done with their education, they have everything ready that they need to take to an employer and show the work and learn experiences that they had, perhaps internships that they've had, their resume is ready to go, and they are employment ready. We also have employer consultants, and these are our employer facing staff who are working with employers to find out what are your needs, what kind of skills do you need in the workforce, how can you connect with us here at Ivy Tech, and how can we make that a meaningful connection and a meaningful experience. We also have career experiences specialists, and those specialists are helping us bridge the gap between students and employers. They are working with employers to develop internships and work and learn experiences. And what I mean when I say those work and learn experiences, we want to get creative with employers and think about different kinds of ways that we can connect our students to employers. Maybe it's something project-based. Maybe it's a shorter version of an internship. Maybe it's a classroom experience. But we want to make sure, again, that employers are having those touch points with students. Students are getting the opportunity to connect with our employers. So that team is going to be working kind of in a circle to make sure that we have the students coming in building the career development portfolio. Employers are on board, that they know that they can connect with our students, and those career experiences specialists helping bridge that gap between all of them. So how can we support employers? This is something, I guess, that I've always in the education space liked talking to employers about, because I think, you know, everyone has that perception of what Ivy Tech is. Perhaps they've gone to Ivy Tech, perhaps they've worked with Ivy Tech in the past, but do you really understand all of the different resources that your community college can bring to you? And that's what our employer consultants are going to be working with employers to be able to do. Of course, we can provide those degree and certificate programs for students and for employers of what they're looking for, but what else can we do? One of the neat things that we have embarked on is called Achieve Your Degree. There are several employees working in companies right now not taking advantage of companies' support in going back to school. Oftentimes employers have that as a benefit in their human resource package, that they will support continuing education. And we want to help current employees in those businesses take advantage of those dollars that are available for their education. Another thing that we can do with employers is work with them to tailor a degree program or a certificate program based on what their workforce needs. You know, you can look at our website at Ivy Tech, see all the different kinds of degrees and certificates that we offer, but sometimes an employer needs a little bit from this certificate, a little bit from that certificate, and that will really meet their workforce demands. And so that's what we can work with them on in developing interdisciplinary degrees and putting something together that is much more tailored for that employer. We can do customized training. We can bring faculty to the employer's work site, custom it around their timing needs. If they need something early in the morning or later in the afternoon, we can work with them to develop a customized training program specifically for them. We see this a lot in, for example, supervisor and leadership development, that oftentimes working with employers, we hear that they have great employees that they have promoted perhaps into supervisor positions, but they've never had that supervisor experience. So while they may be really great with some technical skills, they get into the supervisor position and struggle a little bit because they've never had those experiences. So that is an example of some customized training that we could come in and work with an employer to be able to design something specifically for their team. Internship development. I think that this is such an underutilized area of the college, is in building internships to connect employers and students. I think that there has been a mindset in the past of that being something that's done at a four-year college or university, but it is absolutely something that we can do at Ivy Tech as well. Some of our programs have built-in internships and able to give students those connections, and some do not. So we want to make sure and fill that gap. Again, in building internships, employers may have no idea where to even start in building an internship, and we have specialists that can help with that. We can help with job postings. We have an internal job board called Hire Ivy. And so that is a way that employers can post jobs. And so not only our current students, but past students can be a part of that to come in and see the different positions that are available in the area. Advisory boards. We have made connections with employers to be part of advisory boards within the college. That is a great way for employers to be able to connect with our faculty, with our deans and program chairs, and help us in making sure that the programs we're offering are exactly what employers need. Because, you know, we can come up with all the ideas on the education side of what we want to teach students, but if it's not what you need in the workforce, you know, we're just educating students. And so we want to make sure that we are intentionally educating them for what the workforce needs. So advisory boards are a great way for employers to get involved and to have a voice in the kinds of things that we are doing programmatically at the college. We also want to come up with creative ways of interacting with students. And just in my short time that I have been here at Ivy Tech, I have been amazed at some of the ideas that have been thrown about, that we have talked about with how employers can connect with students. We've talked about big projects between different program areas and bringing in students from multiple classrooms perhaps to work on a project. We have talked about small groups of students getting together to try to help solve an employer's issue that they may have going on and do some brainstorming. There's just so many different ways that we can be creative in making sure that our students are getting that interaction with employers. And I just can't stress enough how important I think this is for students. Because some of our students haven't been in the workforce before. Others are returning because they want to upskill, but they never have had that touch point with an employer in their new career area. And in my past career, I was working with a union in Chicago, and I would watch brand new students who were touching tools for the very first time, and just how nervous they were and how they didn't want to do something wrong. They didn't even know, really how to use some of these tools. And so that is so important for our students to get that practice while they're in the classroom, so that when they're going out into the workforce, they've had some of those experiences. So again, we just want to be creative in how we can connect our students and our employers. And really, I believe the CCEC system is going to transform, as I said earlier, transform the way that we send students out into the workforce. Because for students, we're hoping that they are graduating with those work and learn experiences. They have their career development portfolio put together so that they can feel much more confident in going out into interviews and applying for positions. For employers, we're hoping that you have access to prepared and skilled talent, because it's hard work to recruit new people to your business. We understand that. And we want to make sure that you've had those touch points to ease that transition. We want to create those sustainable relationships and make sure that you are getting the best employees possible from our students. Obviously, we want to help our communities with greater economic stability, making sure that we reduce that unemployment rate and that the people in our communities are working. And in the state, we want to make sure that we're meeting that goal. And Ivy Tech is the place that students can come and make the connection from maybe just a job to actually a career, a sustainable career that can help, upskill themselves and maintain a lifestyle that they're looking for. So this entire system, working together, working with career coaches, working with employer consultants, the work and learn experiences specialists, we believe is a really great opportunity for us to ingrain ourselves much more into the community and not just become that college that everyone knows about and a lot of people have gone to, but actually being connected to the community and making a difference in the lives of our Hoosiers. So that is our goal. That is what our mission is of being CCEC. We want to help our employers. We want to help you connect with Ivy Tech. And so I'm putting my email, my phone number there. Please, if you have any questions, I am happy to answer any of those questions, walk you through connecting with students. If you have job postings, I can make sure and help with that. Any way that you want to connect with the college. And again, I'm looking for those creative ideas. So any of you have a great idea of how we can make those connections, I am happy to help with that. That is a little bit about CCEC. And so if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to walk you through what we can do with you.
Hey, Patty, this is Steve. Thanks so much for sharing that information. That's really great stuff. From a student's perspective, how do they access all of these great services that you and your team are providing?
That is something that our coaches are working on, making some intentional connections. So when a student comes into Ivy Tech, they are immediately paired up with advisors. And so while my team is separate from the advisors, we have our coaches, we again intentionally put them in the workspace with advisors so they can develop those relationships. And advisors then once they talk to those students, get them enrolled in classes, they can pass them directly into those coach roles so that the coaches can start almost immediately upon entering the college in making those connections. So I think that we have a good wheel starting to work together here and putting them all together to build relationships. And then, it's just much more natural when you're working directly with these people to say, oh, hey, you need to go talk to Cindy or Andrew or Rachel, and passing students on.
Absolutely. Thanks again. Great stuff.
Thank you.
Let me just add to Steve's question. So when the students they're coming to Ivy Tech, as Patty mentioned, they will team up with or will be assigned to academic advisor. So now we have academic advisor assigned per school for multiple programs. So we have one advisor, for example, for information technology. Now, adding these career coaches and employer specialists, they're going to be team up with academic advisors, helping this particular student to be successful from the beginning. So per se, after the first 15, 20 college credits, if internship is available, then career specialist and employer specialist will be able to connect with the employer. So again, we started with having assigned academic advisor per program. We are expanding now with the career coaching and employer connections, along with the program chairs. Definitely, we wanted to make sure that Johnny, Sally, and every single student is being has opportunity to be connected with the employers. Yes, Nicholas?
Thanks, Patricia. This was a great presentation. I find this very interesting, not just because I'm the Dean of the College of Business at Valpo, but I used to teach this stuff too in HR. So thanks for sharing. So learning is as we know, is a lifelong endeavor. And that filters into your career too, that it's just, once you have earned a degree, the learning doesn't stop there. And so the coaching shouldn't stop there either. So does your center also think about the sort of lifelong career coaching and staying connected with your alum to help them with their ongoing future endeavors?
That is a really great question, because we just had that discussion at one of our statewide CCEC meetings last week. We were talking about, because we are just rolling this out. This is a brand new initiative this year. And we're all talking about, how do we make this continue on? How do we make this even more sustainable for our alum who are moving on, or they may come back in 3 or 4 years and say, I need some additional help. And so those are kinds of things that we are working through. And I appreciate you bringing that up, because it's absolutely on our forefront of our mind of making that something that's continues to be available. Yeah,
and I think it's a good selling point too, and a very powerful mechanism to stay connected with your alum. So absolutely, good for you. Excellent.
Thank you. Well, without any other questions, thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate some time on your schedule. It was a great pleasure.
Well, thank you, Patty. Thank you very much for joining us today and for introducing us to this program. What a wonderful asset to the community to actually, you're right, bridge the gap between students and employers. Wonderful. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
So being here today, we're going to donate a children's book to the Valparaiso Public Library in appreciation of your time and energy today to be with us.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, does anyone have any announcements or closing comments? If not, I would like to remind you, tomorrow night is the Rotary chat at 7 p.m. I will send out a reminder email tomorrow. And if there is nothing else, if you would join me in the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Great. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and healthy. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
See everybody.